Hi, welcome to the vlog. And local authorities. There used to be some respect between the local authority and the people that lived in the area. Since successive governments have cut funding to local authorities, it's forced them to increase council tax and cut services. As such, and this is a choice, the local authorities, rather than thinking we're all in this together and trying to work with the people of the town become the enemy. I live in what the UK calls social housing now. It used to be council house. And there's no respect now. Before, as long as a tenant paid the rent, the house would be well looked after. They'd be lovely on the phone. Things will get done. These days, the tenants are the enemy. They absolutely resent us asking for repairs to be done. So many houses now have got mould in them. Costs have been cut over the years, so even when they do decide to, I'll use the term loosely, even when they decide to upgrade a property, the reality is it's such a bodge job, it's such a cut price effort, that what they're actually doing is, I'd say, side grading. I'm not even sure that's a term. But where it could be an upgrade, the quality is so poor, they then spend the next decade or so keeping this thing repaired. Simple little things. We had solar panels added to the roof of our property. The way it works is, on a sunny day, if we use the electricity on that day while it's sunny, we can save some money. In most people's cases, if they've got solar panels, when they're not using it, that excess energy gets put back into the grid and that comes off your energy bill. The way our local authority works it is, if we don't use those solar panel energy sessions, the money that goes back to the grid, they get. So they make money off of the house we rent. Fair enough, it's their house, I guess, but seems a little bit lacking in morals. We had double glazing put in. I think they put the same double glazing in 3 times. Every time they put it in, there were panes of glass broken. There was no seal between the 2 panels. Basically bloody awful. It's just cheap and nasty work. But now, with the solar panels on the roof, they didn't install it properly. So rather than putting netting around it to stop pigeons nesting underneath it, they left it. So the pigeons nest underneath. And because the pigeons nest underneath, when they're not underneath, they're on the top. So the pigeons are shitting all over the solar panels, which means that they're not producing as much energy as they should. We then get pigeon shit goes into the guttering full of whatever they've eaten for the last few days, which invariably means seeds. So we end up with forest growing in the guttering, which means that the gutters no longer drain. So the water then flows all the way down the front of the house. In our particular house, we have another 3 houses that drain into our guttering. So their gutters are all clear. So we get all of their rainwater getting piled up and then it pours down the front of our house on the back, of course. We also have a flat roof porch at the front. That's part of the house. We didn't put it there. They've replaced that roof 3 times because it goes rotten. And it goes rotten because they never fixed the drainage on it. So all of the water that doesn't drain away pours onto that roof, because that's the point of the guttering, where it gives way. That roof is then full of pigeon shit, and on most times it's got dead pigeons in it, because pigeons have a lifespan. They die, that's where they end up. So that place stinks. It doesn't drain. It's a constant attraction to the birds because it's where they go on a hot day to have a bath. The noise indoors from the pigeons is ridiculous. I love wildlife, but this is overkill. They know they're supposed to do it. They've acknowledged many, many times in writing that they've got to do it, but it's always some other department that's got to do it. And then when somebody comes out to do it, it's like, oh no, we can't do it at the moment because there's pigeons nesting underneath and we can't do anything about the pigeons nesting underneath. So we've got to wait till they stop nesting. But of course they never come back when they stop nesting. So this has been going on for over a decade now. The damage done to the brickwork of the house is quite huge. They've had to come out doing the pointing several times. Yet whenever I say, can you please come and sort this properly, well, guess who the enemy is? It's horrible me. And I don't know why, because we could work together. There's probably a lot of people that are not quite so decrepit as me that could do it themselves, that would happily work with the council to maintain the properties themselves. But no, it's... I made the mistake a few years ago. They kept failing to repair an old plastic toilet cistern in our downstairs toilet. So I replaced the toilet cistern. Of course, as soon as that goes wrong, they say, oh no, you replaced it, it's your problem now, it's not our problem anymore. You only replaced it because they didn't do the repair in the first place. So I've learned now that if I do work to help them to replace things that they don't repair, I then take ownership of it. So that's the last time they repair it. I replaced the kitchen sink taps because I was having trouble. My hands just hurt a lot and I couldn't use the taps that were on the unit before. So I kept asking them, could they replace them for ones that I could use easier? Yeah, you should get that. You're entitled to that, not a problem. Of course, they never did, so I replaced it myself. Now, of course, as soon as that needs a washer or something goes wrong with it, they don't want to touch it because I took responsibility for it. And it just annoys me. It doesn't have to be that way, does it? You know, we could work together. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Local authorities.